Good morning. So, I like to make videos from my trial and error from learning how to do, webcast videos. Load them up on YouTube and Rumble. I'm not a video expert. It's trial and error, and I've got lots of videos, where I've tried different cameras and found the best cameras. I will, however, say that I am an audio recording engineer, trained for many years. Music, as you can tell, music was my life for a long time. And I am a professional certified audio recording engineer, so I know microphones and sound and speakers. I mean, that's my specialty. Cameras and lighting and stuff, that's a learning process for me. But let's talk about microphone placement. And you see you'll see many of the videos you see, these songwriters, even the big ones, they'll have a mic on a boom stand, right in their face, and I don't know if they just want everybody to see their fancy microphone, and they have it like right here, blocking their mouth and stuff. It's not necessary, In certain instances it is, and we'll talk about that. But as you can see, if you get a decent mic, you can see this right here. I mean, my microphone is placed down on the desk, away from me, out of the camera view, and it's a very sensitive mic. So, if you have a decent mic, and they don't have to be expensive. If you have a decent mic, you don't have to have it up in the picture. It's just crazy. Get it away from it. Now let's talk about types of microphone. The one I'm using here, that you see in front of me here, is a cardioid condenser mic. Cardioid condenser mics require an outside power source because they're very powerful, and it has its own amp inside there, and it amplifies the disc that catches your sound wave when you're talking. And they come in many forms. Most cardioid condensers, the one I'm using, you could, we'll show you a picture of it. This is it right here on Amazon. Right now it's $60. $60. It looks like this, and you can see the same thing is sitting on my desk, and it comes with everything. This one's actually USB, so it's powered by your computer. Like I said, condenser mics, cardioid condenser mics especially, require an outside power source. Most of them require 48 volts, what they call a phantom power supply, which is just a small power supply that works in the background. It's on mixing boards. There's usually a button on a good mixing board that will supply the phantom power needed to run these mics. And there's also, other mics like this mic here. This is a low impedance mic. So it has three. It requires a cable, plugs into a mixing board. Now this particular mic, I found this. This is a Neewer 800. I did a whole video on these if you want to check it. This mic, and it's like the one sitting here. It's a very cheap version of it, but it works great. It's kind of fancy looking. This microphone on Amazon is, I kid you not, $20, $19.99 for this mic, and it comes with the stand and the cables and everything. What it does require is a phantom power supply to run it, since it's a cardioid condenser mic, and you can get those for another $20, and still plug it right into your computer. It's a little tiny box about this big that just runs the power needed to run this, and they have. This is also a condenser mic. This is a Samson stage mic that I used for many years, and it's made for stage. This is a directional mic, so this mic does require that it's right in front of you. It has to be, if you look from the side, it has to be, somewhere between, 8 to 12 inches from your mouth, directly in front of you to pick it up. So if you're using one of these, a musical mic in the studio, it has to be right in front of you, or they're not going to hear you. And and if you get closer and farther away from it, it's going to affect the volume, because this works directly. It picks up the sound wave. This is powered like the other mics, but you have to be right in front of it. And then I have these old mics here. This is a Shure SM57. I got this mic in 1979. I've used it all over the country. I sang through it for many years. Plugs directly into the mixing board. It's non-powered. It has the this is missing the screen cover, but it has a disc in there that picks up your voice directly, and it has to be right in front of you. And they don't use these much anymore. Most people use these wireless mics on stage, or even these, 90% of people on stage now use these. I mean, this is a Shure wireless setup system, okay? And those, along with these, have a receiver, which is a big box that plugs directly into the wall and directly into the board and supplies the power and works on radio waves. These don't. These use a cable. But that being said, if you're going to use a cardiac or condenser mic, placement, keep it away from your face, because these mics, as you can see, mine's right here. It's not in front of me. It's out of the camera view. Doesn't need to be in your mouth. It just needs to be out, and you can hear me fine. These are a good condenser mic. Works wonderful for that kind of thing. Now, here's the caveat. Since these things are so sensitive, you need to have, you need to be wearing headphones, okay? Because these will pick up anything. This particular mic will pick up my wife singing in the kitchen, 2 rooms away, and you'll hear it in the background. She doesn't like it when it picks up her voice on videos, so I have to shut the door. And since they're so sensitive and they pick up everything, if you're by yourself in a studio, like this, you can see in the corner up there, it's fine. It's not in the way. You hear me fine. But you need headphones. If you're going to play, a lot of people will play other people's video clips in their webcast. And since it's sensitive, it'll pick up the sound out of your speakers, okay? But sound travels at a specific speed, 700 and some odd miles per hour, not per second, like time. So if you have your speakers on and you're playing a video and you have your let me get it up on here. Oh, wrong one, center monitor. And you have we'll transition. Say this is OBS Studio. And you can say I have the desktop audio is set up. There's nothing playing out of it right now. And there's the microphone. And you can set the sensitivity on these. You want these to be, somewhere just in the yellow, but not in the red. You see, this one was a little too high. So when you're talking, you can see that. But the sound coming out of the speakers in this desktop audio, the sound is playing directly through the computer into your webcast. And if you're listening to it through the speakers, it's going to come out of the speakers into the microphone, and then also play through your webcast with your voice, plays to the webcast. So there's an echo. I mean, you're actually listening to the video twice, and back to back, and they're farther apart because it takes sound less time to travel from my mouth to this mic. The speakers are 3 foot away, so you're delaying. You're actually playing it through twice. So you want to wear headphones. That's why you see a lot of people wearing big headphones, because they're playing other videos or they're talking to somebody. But a set of earbuds, that's all you really actually need. So that's when you're recording the video and you're watching somebody else's video, playing something for a point, you can hear what's going on, and it doesn't come through twice. Now, here's a caveat about these condenser mics. You see people like Glenn Beck, and if you're in a room interviewing somebody, and they're sitting at a round table, and you see questions are going back and forth, then they will have these condenser mics close to their mouth. And that's because, we've already established this thing will pick my wife up singing in the kitchen. It'll pick up the speakers 3 feet away and feed it back through the microphone. It'll let feed back because it's coming out of the speakers, feeding back through the microphone and back into the system. Now, when somebody's, when they're having a round table discussion, yes, then the mics have to be close to your mouth so they can, and we'll go back over here, so they can take this level right here and turn that level way down. If you turn it, as you can watch that meter, the closer I get to it, the louder it's going to be, and it's into the red. So, but if they didn't have it close to their mouth and the other guys over there close to their mouth, then these microphones are so sensitive, when you ask a question, that person's going to answer, and it's going to go through their microphone. The sound's going to travel at 700 miles per hour back into your microphone, and then you're going to get a double voice, which sounds like an echo. It's actually 2 separate voices coming through at different speeds. One's coming through now, the other one's coming through a couple nanoseconds later, so it creates an echo. And they don't want that when you're speaking live. So then, in that case, these mics have to be real close to your face. But if you're not interviewing somebody, if you're just sitting here making a video like this video, keep the mic out of your face. I mean, people like to see your face. They like to see your mouth talking. And, nobody cares what kind of mic you have. I mean, you can have, fancy mics, expensive mics, cheap mics. It all depends on how you set it up in your board. You move the volume up until this meter right here is called, this is called a VU meter. The letters VU. And you can see where you want it. I mean, and you can turn any mic. You see this one's pretty sensitive, so it's turned down a little bit. And it's still up in the yellow when I'm over probably 14 or 15 inches away from it. It's picking up the voice is fine. So that's just a tip. Any questions? You can't ask me questions about audio and microphones because I am an expert on that. The rest of the stuff, video, still learning as we go. But that's today's lesson. See you next time.